Evening, everyone.
This meeting is being recorded.
Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you to our first traffic and transportation meeting for the new period. Good evening to all. I hope everyone's had a safe summer and is doing well. My name is Edgar Ramos. I'm the chair of the Traffic and Transportation Committee. This is Bronx CB7's Traffic and Transportation Committee. The committee's agenda is as follows. Introductions, meeting guidelines, which I'm doing now. Introductions and attendance, review of previous minutes, follow-up from previous month, new business, A, DOT updates, B, MTA updates, C, TD11 updates. Our next meeting will be October 6th, and we'll discussion on next agenda and followed by adjournment. On September 2nd, 2021, Governor Kathy Hochul signed into law Chapter 417 of the laws of 2021, which authorizes the community board to run this meeting remotely, and minutes will be taken for record keeping. The minutes will appear on the website within days and can be requested from Bronx CB7 staff at any time. If you are calling into the meeting on the conference, controls while joining from landline or cell, or by calling the dial-up number to hear all the available commands, enter ** on your phone, *6 to mute and unmute yourself, and *9 to virtually raise your hand. How we will run this meeting is as follows. Code of conduct for meetings. Penalties and actions. Bronx Community Board 7 has the right to remove and or ask any member of the public to leave a meeting or presentation if anyone who engages in inappropriate conduct, including but not limited to obscene, offensive images, language, personal attacks, threats, or any other behavior that reasonably impedes the orderly administration of the meeting. Repeated offenses will be reviewed by the board's executive committee and any other assigned committee. For a ban, the amount of time to be objectively determined by the above committees. If in-person outbursts or attacks continue, this will be considered disturbing the peace, and authorities shall be summoned. Everyone besides the speaker will stay muted throughout the meeting. After each presentation is over, I will inquire if committee members have questions. Committee members will signify if they have any questions by pressing the raise hand button on your screen or request to speak through the chat or when the chair opens the floor. Members of the public who have joined through the online link will be able to ask questions and make brief statements on an item after each presentation and after the committee has had an opportunity to ask clarifying questions by pressing the raised hand button on your screen, or request to speak through the chat when the chair opens the floor. Only those recognized by the chair of the committee will be allowed to speak during the allotted time. We will stay on topic with the agenda items. Any other items will be acknowledged by the chair as new business and addressed at the next meeting, granted there is time and the committee agrees on the topic. Following the questions, discussions, and public comment portion, the committee will begin their discussions on each presentation agenda and will conclude with the decision to vote on a recommendation. When the agenda is finished, the meeting will be adjourned. If there are any questions stated to meeting software or to our process, please use the chat function, raise hand, or contact the district manager. All right. It's like I've done that for the first time now, right? Okay. Now we'll do the attendance. Edgar Ramos, chair, present. Jahara Arias.
Jahara Arias present.
Eric Asensio.
Eric Asensio present.
Lowell Green.
Lowell Green is present.
Andrew Leosa.
Andrew Leosa present.
Daisy Perry. Daisy Perry. All right. I want to thank everyone who joined in on the meeting. We're going to start with review the previous minutes. Did everyone have a chance to review the minutes from the June meeting? So we'll go into a vote on the minutes from the June meeting. Edgar Ramos, chair. I vote to accept the minutes. Jahara Arias.
Jahara Arias approves the minutes.
Eric Asensio.
Eric Asensio approves.
Lowell Green.
Lowell Green approves.
Andrew Leosa.
Andrew Leosa approves the motion.
And we still haven't seen Daisy Perry pop up, right?
Hi, I'm here.
Oh, how you doing?
She's here. She just
Hi, Daisy. How are you?
good. I just came home from work. Hi.
Did you have an opportunity to review the minutes?
I will do that right now.
'Cause we were doing the vote for the minutes. We did the attendance. I guess I kind of hit the ground running. Started the meeting just about at 6:30. Sorry about that.
That's perfect.
Holly, just a quick question. Is anyone else here for DOT or is it only you?
It's my colleague Jesus. He's here. Keith is officially on vacation.
Okay,
For the next 3 weeks, he will be in Spain, a well-deserved vacation.
wow.
My update will take 10 minutes.
Okay. Just Daisy, are you good with the minutes as they are presented?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Daisy.
Okay. Thank-
Okay, well, one of the things we're supposed to do is a follow-up from the previous month. One of the things that we need to follow up from the previous month is actually gonna be addressed by our first, presenter. We're gonna go to DOT. We have Holly Malone from DOT, who's, ready to present her update from the summer. A
Just
couple of
an
things
update,
from-
yeah,
Yeah.
and thank you, Edgar and everybody. I hope you all had a wonderful summer. I don't believe it's almost that time for like, fall and pumpkins, and I'm both happy and depressed that the summer is ending. But I just wanted to update you guys on the Marshallou Parkway safety improvement projects that have been underway. As you may have noticed, the roadway has been milled as of earlier this week. Paving will probably be next week, once the utilities check out, once they come back. Once the utilities come back, the paving will start, and the marking contractor will come back to mark from Bainbridge to Van Cortlandt Avenue to install once the pavement's been done. And then lastly, the delineators and the quick curbs for the protected bike lane, they'll follow. The installation of those will come after the markings have been installed. I don't know if you've been on Marshall, but it looks really good. They're doing a really good job. Additionally, the two enhanced crossings at Marshallou, the one at Marshallou and 206th Street and at 204th Street, will also be installed by the markings contractor once the markings have been laid. So this is coming along nicely. There've been no issues. Like I said, Keith will be on vacation, but you can email us any questions or concerns you have. Edgar has my number.
Yep.
Contact me anytime.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to blindside you. I know I usually give you a heads up as to what the questions are gonna be, just so that you can prepare answers for us. I was just wondering, I know at the end of the summer, I had asked about the city bike, right? I don't know if maybe for the next meeting or the one following, I don't know if we can get some representation from City Bike just to kind of talk.
What's your
about how things
concern?
are going. Well, the part of the concerns are the usage, right? Some of the bike stations take up quite a bit of space, and are they effective where they are?
Okay.
Of course, there are some by the Botanical Gardens. There are some that are right by the train stations that you see get effective use. But there's one on, let's say, 198th in Jerome. I don't know how much usage that one would get, or some of the other stations along the routes.
So I'll definitely ask our bike share unit, but what I'd like you to do is please send me a list of locations that aren't getting used often.
Yeah.
Where you see that there's just bikes and it's constantly
Right.
full and not getting used, and we can look into that.
Well,
But if you could send me a list,
I drive by them at 5 a.m, so I don't know how much usage they're getting at 5 a.m.
all right, but
So I
if
know.
there's areas,
Okay.
please send them
Yep.
to me, okay?
All right, I got you. And what was the other? As far as the Safe Streets program, so I remember at the end of the summer, there was some concern or some movement on the project for like the University Avenue, that little segment up there.
Are you talking about for the bike, for the,
No, the Safe Streets for the school. Remember they did a presentation for they were gonna work on, those cutouts on Bainbridge. I'm sorry, not Bainbridge, on University Avenue, by the bus stop. There's like that little cutout.
yes, I think,
In one of the safety programs, they suggested that they were gonna remove those to create a better crosswalk or crossing zone, because that was for I believe the elementary school.
okay,
The
get
annex.
me the location and send me your
Because
question.
it was a whole presentation, because I'm sorry, Sedgwick. It was Sedgwick and University.
Okay.
Both of those cutouts, and the walk, basically the walk to the PS. I think it was the PS 86 annex
Okay.
that's by the library.
Okay. I'm gonna follow up with you tomorrow on that.
Okay,
I'll give you a call.
all right. Does anyone on the committee have any other suggestions or recommendations for DOT for us?
Hello, this is Toby Buford. I'm a new member to Community Board 7, and I wanted to ask a few questions about Webb Avenue, Father Ziza, and DeVoe Terrace.
Okay,
Okay, so Father Ziza and Webb Avenue, there is a stop sign on Webb Avenue.
Mhm.
However, when you come around from Sedgwick to where Father Ziza begins, there needs to be a stop sign because a lot of the traffic coming around the corner from the parks, from the Sedgwick Avenue side into the park area of DeVoe, of DeVoe Park, they really come around that corner really, really fast. And one day, several times, I've witnessed people trying to cross their children and cars literally stopping feet before they hit someone. So I did a 311 request some time ago for them to begin to look at that area to see if we can put a stop sign there. The other thing is when traffic comes along regular traffic, because sometimes it gets snarled by the sanitation, but on the days that it does not and is open for people to travel, a
Mhm.
lot of folks go up Webb when Webb is a one-way street going south now, and they go up that way to head into DeVoe Terrace. So I was wondering if it makes sense to make that part of Webb two-way into DeVoe Terrace, since DeVoe Terrace goes north anyway.
All right, so my email address is in the chat. You can email me
Okay.
your request. Also, what I did was I put a link in the chat and I really encourage people to use it. It's our web form. So whenever you have a concern or request for some kind of safety, whether it's a stop sign or a sidewalk issue, whatever, you can log it on that website. Be specific. There's
Okay.
drop-down menus that you can choose where you want this to go. And then there's a box where you can be very specific about your request. And it comes directly to our office. Once you submit it, you automatically get a tracking number.
Okay,
So
thank
it's in
you.
it's in there, but you can also email us. And also I encourage that you leave your contact information, whether it's an email address or phone number. This way we can respond to you directly.
Holly, the other thing is also, I mean, that's currently under review, right? Because they've asked for the stop sign, they've asked for a speed bump, they've asked for a couple of things on.
Do you have tracking
Sedgwick.
numbers for those?
No, I know where there, because I know they were doing a traffic study because of the speed, right? I know NYPD put more enforcement on that corner, right? They retimed the lights because there was a concern with the lights. But if I'm not mistaken, I thought there was a traffic study suggested for that. I think Jahira might have it.
Okay, get it.
So-
I can look into it.
So there's no traffic lights on, if you're talking about Sedgwick Avenue, yes, but there's no traffic light that goes out to, there is on the Father Ziza University side, but there's no traffic lights on the Webb Avenue, the beginning of Father Ziza.
Right. I never
coming
said that
around-
it was. The timing of the light I'm
Okay.
talking about is the one on Sedgwick and Fordham, right? Because they were
Got you.
saying that the way that light was scheduled, the way that light was changing, pedestrians were getting caught up in the middle of the intersection, and because of the speed that people were taking that light, it was creating a safety concern.
Okay, so you know what, Toby? do me a favor. My email is in it. Send me a very detailed email about what it is you're requesting. Be specific with, like, you know, your intersections and streets and stuff, okay? And
Okay,
we'll look
thank
into it,
you.
we'll log it. You're welcome.
Speaking of that street, did you guys have a chance to take a look at the sinkhole that's opening up there?
What street is that?
Father Zeiser.
You reported it to us. I'm sure we have, but I
Mhm.
can look into it tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, they got it filled with like cones and stuff. I'm just amazed at the fact that everyone that comments on Webb Avenue and a stop sign, those don't comment on the sinkhole 20 feet away.
Ugh.
But but I know, like I said, I think Keith may have said something before he left that they were gonna try to at least take a look at it. So I think it was about 2 weeks ago, about 2 weeks
Okay.
ago that I had sent something to him.
Okay,
And
well,
they would-
I'll look at my emails and I'll get back to you on it.
Yeah, yes, there is a sinkhole on Father's Eyster, absolutely.
Okay, well, that we can definitely have somebody take a look at and repair. Thank you.
Barbara, you have something?
Yes. Hi, good evening, everybody. I have a question about the work they're doing on Marshalloo.
Okay,
The lanes from Bainbridge, going eastbound from Bainbridge to Marion Avenue were reduced to 2 lanes.
Correct.
I noticed the original lane close to the curb now has diagonal lines, but as I get close to Marion, where I make my right turn, an area is light green and then another area is brown. If I'm making my right turn, am I supposed to pull over at that point to make the turn?
yeah, so it's gonna be there, you're talking about the bike lane?
No, I'm talking about, I'm driving and I'm trying to make the right turn and
Because I know the bike lane is green, it's painted green on the corners.
yes,
Yes, so is that what you're referring to?
right. Do I pull over at that point or do I have to stay in my lane and just?
Yeah, so
Right.
what's gonna happen is I believe you're gonna have to stay in that lane because there will be delineators making that protected unless it's not at the corners. So just beware when you're making that right turn that there might be a cyclist in that lane.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
You're welcome. Nice to see you again.
Same here.
Anyone else before I say goodnight?
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah, going back to Marshall Parkway,
Okay.
and you are proceeding, I guess, compass north or west on Marshall Parkway from like the Botanical Gardens, the Allerton ball fields. You come up that really steep hill,
Yes,
no
by the
visibility.
precinct.
you level out by the precinct, right? And it's 2 lanes. And then, hard to explain, but briefly at Hull, there's 3 lanes, and then, boom, you have the entirely striped 2 lanes and a bike lane. So a vehicle in the right, I've seen it already, is kind of confused. Is there a way to put up a prior sign before you reach that intersection to
I think I know what
kind
you're talking about. Yeah,
notify
like a merge or
tourists?
something. Do me a favor, please send me a request in an email.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Thank you for that.
All right. Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, that gets
That was phase 3 or C of this project that hasn't been presented to the board yet.
right. Yeah, but even from before that, that was always a kind of weird area where the exit for the 52nd parking lot is, where it goes from like 2 lanes coming from I know the name of that street, Southern Boulevard, when you're coming up, and then where it joins with the merge of the lane, and then when you get to the stoplight, the number of lanes kind of change a few times there. Hopefully now when they do markings, it'll be a little more clearly delineated for everyone.
Okay.
All right. So Holly, I'd like to thank you for presenting to us this evening.
Anytime. You guys are probably my favorite board to like meet. So this is the first board of the season. I'm glad it was you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thank you very much. Now the MTA, we haven't gotten feedback from MTA. We kind of asked them to try to put a presentation together in reference to the bus redesign. They tell us that they want the constituents and those with concerns or questions to contact them. On the MTA website, they have a spot for concerns, and it kind of avails you to let MTA know what they have issues with, or what the passengers are having issues with. It's kind of a better picture if 10 people have a problem with something, that 10 people report they have a problem, than one person saying everyone has a problem with something. Because the more people that identify a situation, the more likely that that situation will be addressed or looked at. So if you log on to the MTA website, you can voice your concerns there. And like I said, I'm trying to get representative from them. You know, unfortunately, they work a regular day. These meetings are at night. So, you know, we hope that they will assist us and, you know, have a representative that might be able to stay late to do the meeting. We just have to work that out. Hopefully we can try to do that maybe for next month or the month following. You know, the other problem is we're a city agency, they're a state agency. So there's, you know, they were very receptive for a while. A lot of the people have changed, the names have changed. It's just a matter of reaching out and reopening those lines of communication, because we did have a pretty positive link with MTA for quite a while. So I'm hoping to establish that once again. Lowell, you have a question? I see your hand up.
Yes. Should I put my request for information about when the number 10 bus at Gun Hill and Bainbridge is going to reopen?
Well, the last time we spoke to them was that the construction company has to release that stop. That was the last comment that was made. Because I believe we discussed that when we had the discussion about the Moshulu Parkway. It was either the Moshulu Parkway or the Gun Hill redesign. We brought that up, and it's a matter of they put a hold on that stop. They would have to release that hold in order for that stop to come back. So that would all be dependent on how far along they are with that particular intersection. So I know they're pretty far up now.
I know, because the intersection looks pretty good. And, you know, I wanted an update. So I will go to the MTA question box and say, what's the status, and see what happens then.
Right.
I saw a sign on the bus stop today that says that it's closed until November 2nd.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. And okay, so next up we have Officer Meredith from TD11. I saw you were on here.
Hey, good evening. How's everybody's doing?
Hey,
I hope
good evening.
everyone had a safe summer. So far for TD11 28-day crime map from August 1st to August 28th, we had a total of 3 crimes only. At this point, the individuals are still wanted, but we are heavily present on the train stations. We would like to remind everybody to make sure every time when you're on the train cars or in the train station, just period, The phone is a big issue. I know sometimes we stay focused on our phone and you just never know. That's what the actually perpetrator is just waiting, just for you to lose your focus, and especially when we bury on our phones. And sometimes too, at the same time, early in the mornings or rush hours, I know many of us end up falling asleep. That's also a major concern, because once you're sleeping, you know, sometimes we're just listening to music, to our AirPods or whatever the case may be. Next thing you see, you fall asleep, and it's an easy phone snatch from there. But as far as that, if anybody has any questions or concerns and related to our train stations, the 4 and the B and the 4 and the B on Bronx, just let me know. Just shoot me an email or a phone call. I did put my contact information on the chat room.
All right. Thank you, Officer Meredith, for that information. I appreciate it. Does anyone on the committee have any questions for Officer Meredith and TD11? Andrew?
Yeah. For what it's worth, I'll bring it up again. I brought it up last time. Nothing's been done. There is a tire repair establishment on the corner of Jerome Avenue and East 204th Street. That tire repair place, besides storing tires on the sidewalk, they are storing the tires. They continue to store the tires piled up on the roof of the truck that's parked under the elevated track of the number 4 train. As I brought up last time, somebody
Andrew,
fire.
We did address that. We addressed that.
Would
We
damage.
We addressed that with NYPD and TD11. Our situation, or the problem that we're having, is that the agency that would be responsible for something like that hasn't met with us, right? Because there is an agency that works with the businesses that should be addressing situations like that, but we haven't been able to open up that line of communication, because we informed Officer Meredith about this in
June.
June.
Yes.
And they noted that. Then we had that big sinkhole there, and so I mean we haven't forgotten about that. Our problem is getting response from the appropriate agency, Andrew. We are trying to address that, because that's ridiculous what they're doing in front of that place, because they've got it on both sides of the streets, around the corner. They got tires everywhere there. It's like they're getting more trucks instead of less trucks, which doesn't make any sense.
My think is that I personally believe that, and it's on record, and God forbid something happens, I hope they play this recording, I believe it is a safety and possible crime issue. Again, if somebody by accident or deliberately starts a fire with those tires, there are literally probably over 100 tires inside the truck and piled up on the roof. Please pass by and look, and I'm not making this up. That trestle, the heat from the flame would probably melt the trestle and ruin the train so that the train can't travel. It's a Homeland Security issue. It's a security issue. It's a safety issue. It's a criminal issue. It's not the Department of Consumer Affairs. It's an illegally parked truck at the very least. It's a fire hazard at the very least. It should be taken care of. Thank you.
Actually, thank you for that, Andrew. Actually, you gave me an idea. We haven't addressed that with the fire department. That may be an alternative route.
Yes, correct. Because
thank you for that, Andrew. But your concern is definitely noted, and like I said, we've tried to address it. We just need someone, I guess, an agency with teeth, right? That can directly impact that. Officer Meredith, he let you let the commanding officer know about that one, right?
Yes, correct. And that same June too as well, I did met with the 5-2 and we spoke about it.
Right.
So what I'm gonna do tomorrow too as well, I'm gonna pass by the area to see if I could talk to the business owner too as well, to see, we could try to work together. At least, not only the 5-2, but TD11 is also speaking to them too as
Right.
well.
Okay.
But
Officer.
yes, your concern, we understand your concern.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Chad, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. Good evening.
Good evening.
So two questions. So this first one I brought up before with the panhandling situation. When something is happening on the train, I was advised to contact 311. 311 doesn't take certain complaints on MTA property. I was advised to contact 511, and 511 is very difficult to navigate. My question there, has there been any improvements or alternatives, especially when 311 calls cannot always be made on the ground? That's my first question. Second question is, what do we do when people are sitting on the staircases of train stations when we're trying to pass? Isn't that against the law, especially when you're holding a child with you or you have groceries or something? I see that all the time when I'm riding the D train.
What stations?
Fordham. Usually the downtown side, but I have seen it on others as well. But I see it a lot on the D on Fordham, and sometimes, no, that's out of the shit. Fordham mostly.
Officer Meredith?
Yes, I'm sorry, I was trying to unmute. So as far as the 311, I know it actually does work because we have been receiving some complaints through the 311 system, and we get it here at TD11, and we usually honestly do respond to it. But as far as that, if it's not working for you, I will follow up. I will take down your information. If you wish to, you could send me your info privately on the chat room, and I'll follow up in reference to that. But as far as Fordham, is it on the B and D or on the 4 line?
The D.
All right. Yes, it is a violation for them to sit actually on the stairways, honestly. If I do witness it myself, I did give them a verbal warning, but of course, if they don't listen, they could do receive a summons, and we actually could eject them from the transit system. But it is a violation. They're not allowed to sit actually on the train, on the staircase. Meaning the station is actually for you to actually take the train and go from point A to point B, not actually to hang around in the train station. But do you know what time at Fordham? Can you give me a time frame?
It would be daytime because I'm not hanging out at night.
Daytime.
I would say early afternoons.
Early afternoons. So we could say probably like around 1 p.m. or 2.
So the last time I've seen it, it was around that time.
All right. Since it's in the B and D, which area of the station? Because I know Fordham is a very
188th Street side.
So that's the one, I'm guessing that's the part, so not where the booth is at.
The one where
That's the southernmost stairs.
Got you. All right. So
because they go to the Cuchifritos, they get some food, and they sit in the stairs and eat.
Got you, man. Cruelty free. All right, I would definitely follow up on that too as well. And around that time, I will be around that area too.
Thank you for that. So you said the 311 calls are going through. I've always had problems with that, with the actual code to use.
Really? Okay, I'm gonna follow up on that because I know not so long ago, before I went out on vacation, I know we was receiving some complaints, and they came in through the 311 system from what I call. Honestly, because I remember having the desk officer assign that to a specific sector to go and take care of that situation.
Gotcha.
Whichever complaint we did receive from the 311.
Also, Chad, Officer Benedict's information is in the chat. He has his contact information there. So if that helps. Also,
oh, here it is. I see it.
Yeah,
I see it.
We were trying last year before the summer break, and I guess we're gonna continue trying to have 311 and 511 set a presentation for us. We're trying to make it a board thing, right? So they come present to the whole board. rather than every committee having something, having the same issue in 12 committees. We're just going to try to address it as the community board completely, so they can kind of give us information on what they handle and what they don't handle, and what's the best way to address certain situations. Because Chad, basically the way it's looked at is, once you take that first step onto the steps, you're on MTA property, and and it's an MTA thing, and NYPD. They've been trying to work things like with the precincts and the MTA TD11 at the stations, so they're trying to have more continuity with the 52nd, with the 46th, 44th, just so that they can try to get a better control of the behaviors and the problems on the trains. So that may be why some of the 311 calls are starting to go by, because basically the NYPD and the TD precincts are concerning with the transit issues. But like I said, hopefully we can get some feedback from 311 and 511, so we can properly clarify some of these informations. It's been kind of a long time coming, and hopefully we can get that done soon. But thank you for bringing that to their attention.
My pleasure. You're welcome. Thank you, officer.
No, thank you. Strongly appreciate you.
Okay, being that I don't see any more hands up for Officer Meredith, I want to thank you for presenting to us. We'll try to follow up on that on the issue with the tires.
Yes.
I'm gonna see if like I said, Andrew brought up a good point. We can try to address it. The fire department might have better teeth to try to address that situation, but we'd appreciate any other help that you can give us also.
Not a problem. Thank you so much for having me, but I will pass by tomorrow and try to see if I could touch bases with the owner.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, our next meeting date is gonna be October 6th. Do we have any suggestions for topics for our October meeting? Andrew, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I'm really, really on this issue and upset about this whole issue, and I urge everybody to dig a little deeper. The issue of congestion pricing will really, really impact on the Bronx. And I urge people to read their own study, which said absolutely the congestion pricing will lead to more congestion in the Bronx. It will lead to more adverse health effects. And there's talk of mitigating the problem by closing over the Cross Bronx Expressway. Well, we all know that would take probably 10 years to do. And I just hope people really examine the health consequences if, or I should say when, this congestion pricing is rammed down our throats.
Yeah.
So I think that should be on the next.
Well, the only situation with the congestion pricing right now is they're still having the town halls, right? So they're still throwing around a lot of suggestions, right? So there's nothing concrete. But your concerns are definitely valid, because a lot of people don't understand what happens in the Bronx, what happens in Upper Manhattan, right? You get a lot of people that come over from Jersey, right? They don't want to pay $50 in parking down in the city, so they'll cross over on the bridge and park on a side street and hop on a train, and that leaves a lot of these neighborhoods, Inwood, Bedford Park, 233rd, with no parking. There's a lot of people that come down from Westchester. They'll park along Mushula Park, I'm sorry, not Mushula Parkway, up by 233 by Van Cortlandt Park. They park there to get on the 4 train, right? And anyone that works in that area understands there's never any parking, and it's very hard. So the congestion pricing, I believe, is gonna magnify that situation, right? Because even more people are gonna start doing that. They're gonna come into the Bronx, park down in Mott Haven. I know a lot of guys that used to do that. They'll park by 138th Street, hop on the 4 train or the whatever train is running there, and get down to the city in 15 minutes and not have to worry about parking. And now that they've developed that area quite a bit and there's a lot more buildings, there's a lot less parking spots. So it's going to be real interesting to see how this congestion pricing is going to continue. They've talked about delaying it, but it's the problem of delaying the inevitable, right? So, Chad, you have something?
I actually have my hand up. I don't know if you can see it. My name is Janelle Robinson. I'm a CB7 member, but I'm not a part of this committee. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I just want to implore the committee to, I'm sure you all are aware of the Bronx, the bus redesign, and almost immediately, I feel like the service has been tremendously decreased. It's the stops are way too far from each other. I see someone in the chat mentioning ADA laws. I'm sure this is, in my opinion, very discriminatory against our, elderly population and our disabled population, because now they have to go way farther, waiting for buses that are way too long. During the summer, there was like really hot days, and standing under the few bus shelters that are left, have been, quite a challenge. And of course, it disproportionately affects, our community. And, I think we need to really tell the MTA and, assert that we need a restoration of the service, the frequency of the service, and some of these stops, especially with, the incoming of residents in our neighborhood. We have the most developments, being created under construction out of all the community boards, I believe Aisha shared last year. And we can see that the developments are happening. So we're gonna have a even more influx of people in our community. So we need the buses to be, running well and, functional for our communities. So I didn't recall the MTA representative today. I think I stepped away to attend to my niece, but if we can mention that, or if that can be a point of interest for the next meeting, I think it's really, really imperative that we get the service restored to our community.
All right. So you want to look over the entire Bronx?
No, I sent an email to you, Barbara, and a couple of other people of this committee. I don't know if you received it or not. And I, in particular, wanted to highlight the 25, the 26, and the 42, which, effectively impact our neighborhood. There's been a lot of stops that have been taken away. And I think we should restore it. I can resend the email that I sent yesterday to detail more specifically which stops I'm thinking of, but also just the restoration of services. Sometimes the wait is literally 23 minutes, in like at 3 o'clock, when there are students, when, we anticipate students, coming in and coming out of the community board. I just think this is something that we need to get a hold of before it gets worse, which, is pretty bad now.
Right. Okay.
Hi, sorry, I raised my hand. I just wanted to jump in and say, I was working with a group in Harlem to restore a bus stop, the BX19, that goes from the Bronx into Harlem. They removed some bus stops that were near senior centers and some churches. So I helped petition to bring the bus stop back. It took about 3-4 weeks, and MTA restored the bus stop.
So that's really encouraging. That's really good. And I hope that can be reflected in our neighborhoods too, because again, we have an aging population. We have an influx of people coming into our communities that need to be served by public transportation. So,
So Janelle, let me ask you a question. Have you contacted MTA with your concerns?
yes.
Okay. You contacted through the website, through a comment section?
Yes. Is there any other way to contact them?
Yeah, there usually is. Sometimes they'll have a suggestion program. I think they had one towards about, I think it was May or June, with issues and concerns. That program's closed right now, but they still have the on the website.
They send me surveys. I fill those out. I do
Right.
look on the website, and I think the added impact of a community board would really drive the point home that our community needs a restoration of services.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone have anything else? Chad, I see your hand up again. I don't see your hand up again.
Yeah, I wrote it down. I'm not sure if it moved up in the chat. I wanted to bring up when we had petitioned for members of the community petitioned to have the 4 train by Marshall Loop Parkway to have an elevator built as under priority status, since we're near major building complexes and hospitals.
Right.
Just wondering if we could bring that back to the forefront with a timeline, what's happening, any roadblocks, whatever have you, since it's been about a year or two.
Right. The last update was they had to finish the one on Tremont first before they tried to start any other elevator construction. Because in that, I don't know if you noticed the concourse, they've got this whole construction thing going from like about 161st all the way up to Fordham Road right now. And some of the things that are getting impacted are the sidewalks, which is impacting all the elevator entries and exits. So they're kind of working on that right now. So I don't know if they're taking on any new elevators. I know the next one, the word from MTA, but like I said, this is 2 regimes ago, was that Moshulu Parkway was the next one after Tremont. But there was no time frame on the ending of Tremont. So we're gonna try to contact them and see if we can get some type of time frame. Once again, one of the issues is they don't give solid dates for anything, right? Because they don't want to be held accountable for, oh, well, you said you'd have it done by June and it's August and it's not done yet. So we're probably not going to get a solid date, but we can find out how far along we are and when they'll be starting that. Or we can try at least.
Yeah, I think we should, so that they don't think that we forgot.
Oh, they know we didn't forget, because there are a lot of people contacting them about it. It's not just us, it's the elected officials, a lot of people. The hospitals contact them, because like you said, that's a major artery right there. You have the Montefiore, you have North Central, and a lot of clinics in that area that there is no near train station with elevator access, which is very appalling at this point. So we're hoping, well, like I said, I'm going to reach out to MTA and see if they can try to give us some type of time frame, or at least recognize that it is a problem.
Great, thank you.
All right. All right. All right, seeing we have no other hands up, we're gonna adjourn our meeting of traffic and transportation. Can we get a A vote on that, please.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Andrew.
I second.
Thank you, Lowell. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
No comments.
All right, so that brings our September meeting to a close. I'd like to thank everyone who took the time to be at this meeting and who gave input. Thank you very much. And see you guys in October. Hopefully we might see each other in person for the actual general meeting if that does happen. But for right now, we're continuing with the online meeting.